I love this time of year. I'll just start with that. It's a perfect time of year to be a hockey fan. Listen, we have the Stanley Cup champion soon to be crowned, either the Edmonton Oilers or Florida Panthers. And then for the other 30 teams that have been eliminated, it's time to start getting back into the news cycle. And how do you get back into the news cycle? Well, your players' agents start talking, team executives start talking, they start leaking a little bit more information about stuff that might have happened during the season or that they were talking about during the season, just to get back into the news cycle. And listen, for every single hockey fan, this gets the juice out of the can. Every single person loves this stuff. And it's no different than today. A massive report from James Myrtle of The Athletic was put out today, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But before we do, I'm Justin Ironberg, and welcome back to another video here on Justin Sports. If you like the content that you see, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment because, let's be honest, it's the only way this channel is going to grow is if you guys keep on liking it. So I hope you guys do. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or X, be sure to do that as well because I guarantee if you like the content that you see here, you're going to love the content that you see there. It's just a matter of time before you find it. Now, let's talk about the report that James Myrtle put out today. And if you don't know James Myrtle of The Athletic, beat reporter for the Maple Leafs, he is one of the most well-known guys that reports on the Maple Leafs, and he's probably the most in the know of the Maple Leafs at all times, other than Luke Fox of Sportsnet and Mark Masters of TSN. But yeah, let's talk about this whole ordeal that potentially went down. So we have a report from James Myrtle this morning that a 3-team trade was talked about during the season between the Vegas Golden Knights, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes. So in this potential deal, Mikko Rantanen was going to go to Toronto. Mitch Marner was going to go to Vegas, and the Vegas Golden Knights were trying to just figure out who they were going to send to Carolina. Okay? And so in this deal, Toronto was okay with it. They were on board. They were the team that was already lock sealed and loaded. They were going to, make the trade. Depending on Marner waving the no move, but they were okay with what they were doing. Then you have the Vegas Golden Knights who were going to get Mitch Marner, which superstar coming to Vegas. We've seen that before. Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, to name a few in-season trades that have happened. And then the Carolina Hurricanes. This is where I just don't get it. So yes, this could have been talked about during the season. This very realistically was talked about during the season. No, like Myrtle puts this out there, so it has to be true. But realistically, this trade would have never been close. This trade could not have happened. Yes, Toronto is going to get Mikko Rantanen. Yes, Vegas is going to get Mitch Marner. But who's Carolina going to get? Jack Eichel? No way. There was no one that Vegas was going to be able to offer that would have lived up to, or a package in that matter, that would have lived up to getting rid of Mikko Rantanen and not getting Mitch Marner and letting those two teams get that. That's why this trade simply did not go through. The Vegas Golden Knights just can't facilitate a package that is worth that much. So when the report that came out was the trade fell apart because Vegas and Carolina couldn't come to agreements on pieces, well, no crap, because they simply don't have a superstar, and Carolina was looking for a superstar in return. They just weren't going to get that. So obviously this deal was going to fall apart. So when we take that all into consideration, this deal was never close. This deal would have never been close. We don't know if Mitch Marner was even asked to move the no trade clause in this trade. But we do know that Mikko Rantanen would have been going to Toronto, and he was the most rumored one, and they wanted him. So yeah, at the end of the day, like we can take a look here at like Vegas, and I can show you, for example, what I'm talking about, because they simply don't have the players to facilitate a trade like they would want to, I guess. And especially in a 3-way trade for that. Like, you're trading, one team's getting a superstar each. You're not trading Jack Eichel. We know that. You're not trading Mark Stone. We know that. And no one else on the team is going to live up to that in terms of a potential deal. So where was this going to come from? It just simply wasn't. it just simply was not gonna work. So yeah, I'll show you. And Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Thomas Hurdle, William Karlsson. Like, there is no superstar talent on this team outside of Jack Eichel. Like, elite superstar. We're talking top 20 player in the league. That's who you're trading away if you're Carolina. That's who you're gonna get if you're Toronto, and that's who you're gonna get if you're Vegas. And if you're Carolina, you want that in return. And no, like, obviously they're gonna say no because Vegas doesn't have anything to do. Like Shea Theodore, maybe, like Shea Theodore and Thomas Hurdle, maybe, but how does that help Vegas? It just simply doesn't. So yeah, like, when we look at this report at the end of the day, yes, there is juice behind it because it's a three-team trade with Mikko Rantanen and Mitch Marner, which is always fun to talk about. But at the end of the day, this simply just would not have come close because Vegas simply doesn't have the pieces and the assets to offer anything to Carolina that would make it worth their while. So at the end of the day, that's where we stand on this news and report by James Myrtle of The Athletic. Let me know if the comments if you actually think this was close. I can't see it. I can't see it only because when they say the teams when they say the trade fell apart because of Vegas and Carolina, it just makes sense. Just makes sense. But anyway, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.